This year's foldable phone battle is about to get wild, because for the first time, Samsung's newest Galaxy Z Fold lineup is rumored to face something the industry has been waiting on for years. Apple's first foldable iPhone, often called the iPhone Ultra. And if the latest leaks are even close to accurate, this won't be a simple Samsung versus Apple comparison. It's a full shift in foldable design philosophy, with both brands seemingly moving toward a wider, more tablet-like foldable experience that could change what people expect from a premium foldable phone in 2026. In this script, we're breaking down the biggest rumored differences between the foldable iPhone Ultra and Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 8 family, why Huawei is suddenly part of this story, what the wide folding form factor really means in daily use, and most importantly, whether you should actually buy any of these first-generation designs. Let's start with the reason everyone is talking. Apple entering foldables changes everything. On paper for years, Samsung has basically owned the mainstream foldable conversation outside of China. The Galaxy Z Fold series became the default answer to what foldable should I buy, because it was available, refined, and supported globally. But Apple doesn't enter categories quietly. Leaks suggest that Apple's foldable iPhone Ultra is expected to launch later this year, reportedly in September, alongside the iPhone 18 Pro lineup, assuming there are no delays. At the same time, Samsung's new Galaxy Z models are expected to launch earlier, likely next month, which sets up a rare head-to-head season where both companies are selling their top foldables at the same time. And here's the twist. Reports also claim Samsung will be supplying the displays for Apple's foldable iPhone Ultra. That's not unusual. Samsung Display has been a key supplier for years, but it makes the competitive dynamic even more intense this time. Now, add Huawei into the mix. According to industry chatter, Huawei moved quickly with a new Pura device, often referenced as the Pura X Max, after foldable iPhone designs began circulating. Whether that was a direct reaction or just timing, the result is the same. Apple's foldable rumors appear to be accelerating the entire foldable market. But the biggest reason this story is blowing up is not launch, timing. It's the form factor, the foldable. iPhone Ultra could be a totally different kind of foldable. Most foldables you see today, especially the Galaxy Z Fold style, devices follow a familiar blueprint, a tall, narrow outer display for quick tasks, and a more squarish inner screen that opens up like a book. The foldable iPhone Ultra is rumored to take a different path. Instead of going tall and narrow, Apple is reportedly aiming for a wide folding design, something that's still rare in the global foldable market. The idea is simple. Make the folded phone easier to use one-handed, and make the unfolded screen feel more like a small tablet in landscape orientation. So what does that look like in real life? When folded, the iPhone Ultra could be shorter than typical fold-style phones. When unfolded, it may become significantly wider, closer to an iPad mini-style experience used in landscape mode. That wider layout could be incredible for watching YouTube, Netflix, and movies with fewer black bars multitasking, with two apps side by side without everything feeling cramped editing photos, documents or timelines with more horizontal room gaming, with better control spacing and a more natural grip. And if Apple optimizes iOS for this wider foldable layout, the foldable iPhone Ultra could become the most tablet-like phone Apple has ever built without being an actual iPad. But wide folding comes with trade-offs. A wider inner display can introduce new challenges. App scaling and UI layouts can look weird if developers aren't ready. Some content may stretch awkwardly depending on aspect. Ratio one-handed use might be better when folded, but unfolded usability depends on weight and balance durability. Concerns can increase with new hinge geometry and different stress points, and that brings us to Samsung, because Samsung is rumored to be changing. 2. Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 8 may be shifting toward the same experiment leaks suggest. Samsung isn't just iterating on the Fold 7 formula. Instead, the standard Galaxy Z Fold 8 could move toward a wider folding approach as well, similar in spirit to what's rumored for the iPhone Ultra. But the more surprising part of the leak is the compromise list. Some reports claim the redesigned Galaxy Z Fold 8 could arrive with only 2 rear cameras instead of the usual flagship triple camera setup, a smaller $4,800 mAh battery, a focus on thinner design, and a different shape rather than maximum specs. Now, if that sounds like Samsung is trying to hit a specific design target, Thinness, balance, portability, that's because it probably is. The market has been demanding thinner foldables, and Chinese manufacturers have been pushing the limits. But here's the key point. Changing the shape and changing the camera, battery, priorities at the same time makes the standard Galaxy Z Fold 8 feel less like a safe flagship upgrade and more like a first-generation redesign. And that's where the buying advice gets complicated. Which one should you buy? The foldable iPhone Ultra or Galaxy Z Fold 8? If you want the honest, practical answer based on these leaks, possibly neither. Not because they won't be good, not because they won't be exciting, but because wide-folding flagship phones, at least in the form being rumored, are still an experiment in the global market. Even if the idea is smart, first-generation designs can come with issues you don't see in renders, DAP optimization problems, hinge durability quirks that appear after months of use, unexpected weight distribution, strange thermal behavior, because internal layout changes battery life that looks fine on paper but drops under real multitasking loads accessories, cases, and screen protectors that lag behind for weeks, and the price makes this risk harder to justify. If you're paying around $2,000 or more for a foldable iPhone, Ultra or a new Galaxy Z Fold 8, depending on storage, region, and promotions, you're not just buying a phone, you're funding a brand new form factor direction. If the wide folding concept becomes the future, great. If it doesn't, you might be stuck with a device style that the market, and even the manufacturer, moves away from quickly. It's happened before in smartphones. Manufacturers try something bold. Sales don't hit targets, and the idea disappears within a generation or two. So if the question is, which is worth buying for most people this year, the safest move might be waiting. But what if you absolutely must buy a foldable this year? If you're determined to get a flagship foldable in 2026, and you want the least risky choice based on what's being rumored, there's one option that stands out. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra leaks suggest Samsung may launch 2 Fold 8 models, and the Fold 8 Ultra is expected to be the true successor to the traditional Fold experience, the model that keeps the familiar, proven layout. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra is rumored to offer the more traditional squarish inner screen when unfolded, a proper flagship triple camera system, a larger 5000 mAh battery, a spec philosophy that prioritizes no compromise, fold rather than new experiment, if that's accurate. The Fold 8 Ultra could be the most predictable and stable choice among the 3 major names being discussed. The standard Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide folding redesign, Apple's foldable iPhone Ultra, Apple's first foldable plus wide folding concept, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, traditional flagship approach. In other words, if you need a foldable for work, productivity, travel, or multitasking, and you can't afford surprise issues, the Ultra model might be the safer bet. Still, there's one big wild card. What if the wide folding layout becomes the new standard overnight? It can happen. If the foldable iPhone Ultra becomes a cultural moment, and if Samsung's wide Fold 8 sells extremely well, the market could shift rapidly. Developers could prioritize the wider layout. Accessory makers could follow. And suddenly, the traditional tall outer screen plus squarish inner screen might look outdated. That's why this year is so unpredictable. But unpredictability is exactly why many buyers should pause. Why waiting could be the smartest move in 2026 if you skip this generation. You could get a dramatically better foldable next year. Here's what waiting typically buys you with new categories. Second-generation hardware fixes, hinge refinements, crease reduction, stronger frames, better battery tuning after real-world feedback, more polished software layouts, and developer optimization. More accessory support at launch, more stable pricing, and better trade-in programs. Apple especially tends to improve quickly after the first release of a new category. If the iPhone Ultra Foldable is real, the second foldable iPhone could be the one where Apple truly perfects the experience. Samsung will also learn fast.